The whole time we've been watching Michael Myers, we've been calling him a demon, the monster, the boogeyman. Come to find out, he was none of the above. He was just an innocent child that was a victim of a curse that was placed on him. He was a victim, bro. See, we were so busy getting entertained off of Halloween and looking at Myers like an idol that we didn't even notice they was giving us the true story of Halloween, putting it right in our face. Because if you don't know, the true story of Halloween is a festival known as Samhain. It's a festival to their lord, which is a demon, and they would sacrifice people and animals to this deity. This cult was known as the Druids. That's the same exact cult that's in that movie called The Curse of Michael Myers. In the movie, they explained the Druids had a symbol that represented a demon called the Curse of Thorn. This is that same curse that was placed on little Mike before he started unaliving people. So, like I said, this symbol represents a demon, a curse, and this symbol was placed on Mike. See, this is how it works. That symbol represents a demon that spreads sickness and destruction and chaos. To prevent this demon from spreading this chaos, there must be a blood sacrifice. And that's where little Mikey come in at. Because the curse of thorn is placed on a child by a leader of the cult. It commands that the child to unalive his entire family as a blood sacrifice to keep the cult alive. And listen to this. The child will be able to withstand serious injuries with supernatural abilities. And the more this curse is on him, the more evil he gets. So that's why he's able to walk while he's lit on fire like it's not even affecting him. That's why he can walk through doors of glass and it has no effect on him. That's why he can get shot multiple times and it has no effect on him. Because he is powered by a demon. And the more he walking around with this curse, the more stronger he become. The more evil he become. So not only Michael Myers has a lot of victims that has fallen by his blade, but he himself is also a victim of a curse that has been placed on him by a cult leader. And it also made a reference in the movie that he would never end his power until the last relative is deceased. And then it says, and the curse would be passed on to another child. So what does this say about Halloween? That it's saying that the curse will be passed to another child. This is a direct message to those who celebrate Halloween. They letting you know in your face what Halloween is truly about. Curses and spells and witchcraft. They letting you know when you celebrate Halloween, you're doing the ritual and you're unleashing curses into the world. But if you really want to understand Michael Myers or the holiday Halloween period, you don't have to watch no Discovery channels or learn about it on History channels or none of that stuff. You don't have to read about it. Watch this movie right here. This will tell you everything you need to know. This is not your average Halloween movie. This is called Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Witchcraft. And in that movie, you're going to learn about a warlock who poses as somebody who's selling Halloween masks for kids. But the Halloween masks are cursed. And these kids are programmed to watch this TV show with the mask on, which is going to soon unalive them on Halloween night. Just like in that movie, The Curse of Michael Myers, they had a cult leader. This is also someone that's in a cult that's doing the same practice they was doing 3,000 years ago with Halloween, which was known as Samhain. Now it makes sense why Michael Myers wear his mask, because if this warlock did some type of magic curse where the kids unalive themselves by putting on this mask, then imagine what it do for Michael Myers. It does the opposite. Maybe his mask is full of magic, which hence the reason why he has these perks where he can disappear and reappear anywhere he wants.
Breaking. Philadelphia police are searching for a masked man wearing a Michael Myers outfit after he cut someone's leg with an axe. Call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. That's giving all praise to the Most High. In the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us his truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the whole folk scattered abroad. Real quick, let's go into this pagan tradition, Halloween. All right, here it is. The next day after Halloween, I ended up just falling asleep. Going to bed. The doorbell kept ringing, even though I had my lights off, and obviously it was clearly I wasn't into the festivities of this pagan ritual. People kept ringing the doorbell, so I ended up just going to sleep, and I figured I would do this lesson in the morning, and here we are. But after this, quick, lesson, I'm gonna have some history at the bottom that I got from another brother's video concerning this pagan tradition of Halloween. But this, as you've seen in the post-production, this a whole character, Michael Myers, which is where those Halloween movies come from, revolving around this character. It really just, embodies the demonic, these demonic spirits that are, being promoted on this day. You have our people who are still celebrating these pagan holidays, in reverence of Nimrod and these false gods and deities. And, really this, Halloween thing was about, sacrificing children. Okay. That's what they were doing. Those druids, that's what they were doing. They were sacrificing children. And, it's crazy when you go into the history, which you're going to see at the end of this video, is how all these things tie in and comes back to, what we see today as what they call Halloween. All right, so stick around for that. But let's grab a few scriptures first. All right, I want to start off with 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 22. It says, abstain from all appearance of evil. Okay, abstain from all appearance of evil. And with this whole Halloween thing, it's a bunch of evil. You're dressing your kids up, which, like I said, the history is going to be at the end of why they did that. But you're dressing your kids up in, as witches and warlocks, and people dress their kids up as Michael Myers. Even when you go into the mask, as you're going to find out, when you go into wearing those masks, there's a reason for that as well. So they wear a mask and they dress up like demons, and the scariest thing they can be. A lot of the women, they dressed up like harlots. This is a time for them to show their bodies off. You see, so it's just wickedness. All right, in the NLT it says, stay away from every kind of evil. So if there's evil, wickedness, you're supposed to stay away from that, man. You're supposed to abstain from that, all right, if you're in your right mind. And most people are not. All right, they want to participate in these wicked ways, these traditions of men. Let's grab that next. All right, because that's all it is. These are traditions of men. The Lord is not dealing with this. He did not tell us to go out here and try to be, participating in this madness. Okay. It says Colossians chapter 2, verse 8, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after the Most High. YAHAWASHI. Okay. So this is what this world does. They got you following after the world, the traditions of men. Okay. When you go deep down into it, this stuff goes back to Nimrod as well. You have, I believe it's today or last night, in Mexico, they have something called the Day of the Dead. So this is all just complete madness, man. And I brought it out the other day, but this reminds me of last Halloween, last year. Everybody went out to Ybor. I'm not sure what happened this year. I'm sure they was out there again, the simple ones. But everybody went to Ybor, which is a club scene down here in Tampa. They went out to Ybor where all the bars are and stuff. People go out there and get drunk. You got a bunch of homeless people walking around, bugged out of their minds. And last year they had a Halloween party out there or whatever. People was out there for Halloween, and shots started ringing out. A lot of people got hurt. A few people died. All right, and it was crazy because it got real scary that night, right? It was pictures and videos all over the internet, and you seen a Jake laid out in the streets, dead with his eyes still open, tongue hanging out, blood all around him, and that was real. All right, it was a young Jake too. He was a young Jake, man. He's probably like 14, 15, which had no business out there in the first place. But that just goes to show you that, as you're going to see in the history, how Halloween is the most satanic night where the most rituals are going out, and you have a lot of demonic spirits, all right, evil spirits that's roaming around that time. So a lot of people die on Halloween, and like I showed you right here, you had some guy dressed up as Michael Myers who took the damn, because really a spirit jumped on him. Scripture says there are spirits created for vengeance. So people will put these costumes on and they'll start acting like these particular characters more than they should. All right, to the point where they'll end up doing something, that they can't come back from. And this individual who did this, the police are looking for him. I don't know if they found him yet, but he ended up cutting somebody's leg. So he took that character of Michael Myers way too seriously. All right, and why? Because there's a demon on him. All right, there's an evil spirit that jumped on him when he was in that suit. Which, as you've seen in the post production, Michael Myers is just a demon. That's the spirit of a demon. Okay, and they pass it on to child after child. You see, bringing this back. It says, Colossians chapter 2, verse 8, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the rudiments of men, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Hamashiach Yahawashi. So the majority of this world, they're following after the ways of the world. They're not following after the scriptures and YAHAWAH Yahawashi. Okay, they're doing their own thing. They're not following the scriptures, because the scriptures does not tell you to go out there and put on costumes and be talking about trick or treat. That's madness, man. That's wickedness. That's against the ways of Yahweh BAHASHAM Yahawashi. Let's go right here. Let me put in this right here. Okay. It says Exodus chapter 22, verse 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. And that's one thing about it too. It's a bunch of witchcraft. As you heard about this, this Michael Myers character, it is really based off of witchcraft, sorceries, and that's the whole Halloween thing in itself. They talk about being in that spirit of Halloween. That's witchcraft, man. A witch. They deal with witchcraft. It says 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. So when you are rebelling against the ways of Yahweh BAHASHAM Yahawashi, that is as a sin of witchcraft, which it can get you put to death. It says, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of Yahweh BAHASHAM Yahawashi. He have also rejected thee from being king. And a lot of our people, they're going to have to be destroyed on this side. And they're not going to be changed when the Lord comes back. They're going to end up being destroyed, because they have, taken place in this rebellious witchcraft, man. All right. And in this rebellion against the Most High. And they're going with the ways of this world. Let's go to here. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 9. It says, when thou art come into the land which the Lord Yahweh BAHASHAM Yahawashi thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. And we are in the land of our captivity right now. All right. And all over the world, our people are in captivity still, in the land of their captivities. But the Lord said, you're not supposed to learn to do after the abominations of those nations. Okay. Scripture says, learn not the way of the heathen. This is the heathens. All right. This is what they do. This is what they're a part of. You got grown ass men and women dressing up. Okay. They say it's supposed to be for the kids, but you got grown ass men and women dressing up, man. And I was entirely vexed, yesterday. I ended up going to sleep early and just, calling it a night, because of this whole, I could just feel the demonic spirits, that was roaming heavily around on that day. And I was entirely vexed. But at my job, you got grown ass men. Like, I'm probably one of the youngest men at my job. Okay. I'm going to tell you, I'm probably one of the youngest people at my job. And you had these people in their 50s, 60s, old people. They're coming up in there wearing costumes and stuff, man. Running around, having a good time and shit. I'm over here working hard and underpaid, and they got the time to be dressing up, in costumes on Halloween at the job. You see? So we are vexed with the filthy conversation of these wicked people, man, and their deeds, what they're doing. We are entirely vexed, man. We hate it here, okay? We hate it here. I damn sure hate it here. All right, but I was seeing them just running around and having so much fun, and folly and madness. It pissed me off, man. Hey, so you Aquafa there, it put curses upon this place, man, that the Lord can deliver us out here sooner than later. It says, Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 10, there shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, which is child sacrifice. Today will be, those abortion clinics. It says, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord YAHWAH, and because they of these abominations the Lord thy power doth drive them out from before thee. All right, so we're not supposed to be doing those things, man. And Halloween is a day where people dress their kids up as wizards and enchanters and witches. Okay, that's wickedness. That's evil. That's off. Okay, it says, "Thou shalt be perfect with thy Lord, with the Lord YAHWAH thy power. For these nations which thou shalt possess hearken unto observers of times and unto the diviners. But as for thee, the Lord Yahweh thy power shall have not suffered thee to do so." So, hey, we have a power where we're supposed to serve. We're not supposed to be doing what these other nations are doing. All right, and the scriptures tell you how they hearken unto, these demons. All right, let me see what I got here. Here we go. I put this post up yesterday. It says, "I'm glad that Christian parents let their children worship the devil at least one night out of the year." And this is a quote from Anton LaVey, founder of the Church of Satan. Okay, and you see these people there, they got their child up there, So this is what you're doing when you're participating in this pagan ritual, these pagan holidays, man. The Lord ain't with this stuff, and we ain't with it either. All right, we can't wait for the Lord to destroy this place, and we can get the hell up out of here, because this is what goes on. Nowadays, if you meet a woman, this is why you don't deal with women that already have children either, because you meet a woman, she wants you to go trick or treating with her kids and shit. Like, come on, bro. Hey, you send your kids to school, and they in there teaching them about Halloween, and then your child gonna feel out of place because they seen everybody else doing it and having fun, and they thinking that they supposed to do it and have fun. We just gotta get the hell up out of here, man. All right, let me grab this right here. This is definitely, 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 38. "But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant," because we're giving you this warning. So if you don't take heed to it, then that's on you. People still, celebrating these pagan holidays, man. All right, taking their kids out trick or treating and shit. People in my family who I already told about this, man. I already let them know years ago when I first came into the truth. We don't talk about it no more. But years ago when I first came into the truth, yeah, I know. And then when something happens, like we had this hurricane that came, they want to come to my house. No, don't come to my house. Stay over there where you been at and pray to who you've been praying to. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." You see? So the majority of people, they are ignorant, and Satan then took advantage and got the advantage of them. But we see what's going on. We know what this is, man. All right? That's why Scripture says, "Study to show thyself approved." Okay? You got to actually go into these things and, actually get an understanding of these pagan holidays and these traditions. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 15, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small." So you should know the history of all these, pagan holidays that you worshiping, these pagan traditions. You should know the history. And if not, then you are ignorant. People just openly celebrate Christmas and Halloween and Thanksgiving and don't know where this stuff come from. You see? Scripture says, "Follow not a multitude to do evil." Just because everybody doing it don't mean that you should be doing it, man. All right, the Lord is against that, and we are against that, because whatever the Lord is against, we are against. All right, and if you still doing this stuff, then we are against you too. Okay, it says Nahum chapter 3, verse 4, "Because of the multitude of the whoredoms," because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts, that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts." And that's what America is doing. All right, they got people, completely engulfed in these wicked ways, in these wicked traditions and whoredoms and witchcrafts, man. And they happily, worship and reverence in these things with smiles on their faces, These people, they love it. They're caught up in it. And if you try to tell them to stop doing it, they'll get upset with you and try to rend you, man. So we done, you know, telling you people about these pagan holidays, man. We already told you about it, you know, and every year we're going to give you a reminder. But, hey, we're done with you people, man. If you ain't coming to YAHAWASHI, then really it's the hell with you. With that being said, I'm saying Shalom, Kwame about the ball. Stay tuned for this history. Shalom.
When the Druid priest held power in Great Britain. Now the Druids held all power. You couldn't get married without their permission. You couldn't hold any type of official title in the clan without their permission. You couldn't even attend any of their religious ceremonies without their permission. They literally held power over all life and death, and you're really going to find out how in this example. During the nights of Samhain, the Druids would gather at these giant megalithic stone circles. One of the most common known stone circle is, of course, Stonehenge. Just about everyone has seen Stonehenge at one time or another, be it in picture or if they were actually there. Now, Stonehenge, as I said, it's a megalithic crop circle. Megalithic crop circle, that's the UFOs. Wrong subject. But we could always get there. This is a megalithic stone circle. It served three specific functions. First of all, it was a temple complex. Second of all, it served as an astrological observatory. Third, it served as a place of human sacrifice. Archaeologists have already unearthed, underneath Stonehenge, over 4,000 human skeletal remains. And that's just Stonehenge. There are hundreds of these throughout the British Isles. This one, believe it or not, is small compared to some of the others. The one in Aylesbury is over a mile in circumference. This is just a small one. And there's over 4,000 dead human sacrifices underneath it. You multiply that by X amount of hundreds of these stone circles, and I think you'll understand what the Druids were all about and why they were so greatly feared by the common folk. During the time of Samhain, the Druids, in this example, they would meet at Stonehenge. They had a giant cauldron, a black pot, that they would fill with what you would best understand as an apple cider-like substance. They would light the pot, and then all the Druid priests would go out throughout the countryside. They would go to various mansions, to castles, to people of nobility such as the earls, marquises, dukes, what have you. They would walk up to the front door of these places, and you want to know what they would yell out? Trick or treat, exactly. Now see, trick or treat is a two-part expression that literally sent waves and waves and waves of panic throughout the people who ever heard it. You see, if the Lord of the Manor cooperated with the Druids, he would take one of his own servants or one of his own household members, someone of his own family, and pass them over to the Druids to be used as a human sacrifice offering that night. The Druids would leave you a treat for your cooperation. They would take a pumpkin that was previously hollowed out and filled with human fat. They would leave it on the front door step and light it. This served as a water protection from all the demonic forces that would be unleashed that night. Now this is where we get into the trick. If you did not cooperate with the Druids, they would take blood from a dead body that they had actually been dragging around and paint the six-pointed star with the circle around it. This is known as a hexagram, from the Latin hexere for six. This is the foulest, the most evil of all the symbols in the occult world. I don't care what anyone else tells you. You need that symbol if you're going to summon a demon to this plane of existence. The Druids would paint that in human blood on the people's front door. Someone would die between those nights because of the demonic forces that were summoned. 4 or 5 hours later, the Druids would all return, in this example, as I stated, back to Stonehenge. Once they got back to Stonehenge, they would take these people and put them in these cages. One particular cage is of great interest. They would take those wicker reeds. Remember how we had talked about those before, how the Easter egg landed in wicker? And it's a very, very durable material. What the Druids would do a week before Samhain began, they would send the Celtic warriors out throughout the countryside where they would gather up thousands of these wicker reeds. Once they brought them back, they formed a giant wicker man. The wicker man looked something similar to this. It stood approximately 25 to 30 feet in height and was just intercrossing wicker reed to where it formed the effigy of a human man. This would usually be 2 to 3 levels in height and have cages running throughout it. The Druids, once they brought back all the human sacrifice offerings from trick-or-treating, they would throw them into those cages and tie them. Now, if by some chance they ran out of space in the wicker man, they had these regular square cages made out of wicker that they had set aside just in case. Now, this is where the Druids now would have their version of fun. They would take approximately 12 prisoners, 12 people now who were going to be used as human sacrifice offerings, and line them up in a single row in front of that cauldron. They would take an apple, throw it into the cauldron, and say, if you can take that in between your teeth on the first try, you will be set free immediately. Who would do that? Raise your hand. Who would try to grab that apple in between their teeth so that they could be set free? Who would do it? Raise your hand, please. There's only one problem, though. That cauldron has been boiling away for 4 to 5 hours now. The boiling temperature of liquid is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, who would do it? No volunteers? You? You know you'd be the only one then who would have a chance of living. You see, if you didn't try for it, you were going to end up as a human sacrifice offering anyways. This was your only way out. Every single person there did take the chance, except with dire consequences, let's face it. After they plunged their heads into that boiling liquid, their faces, their neck, and I don't even know how much of their chest and back, literally was just melting to where they would be permanently disfigured and unrecognizable. Many of them went blind because of the 212-degree liquid that was burning their eye sockets away. Many end up as partially or permanently deaf because of the damage that was done to their ear canal and the damage that was done to their speech and to their respiratory system because all that liquid was funneling down their throats while they were trying to grab that apple. And yes, this is where you've got that cute little game, bobbing for apples. Now, if you did grab that apple on the first try in between your teeth, they held to their promise. They let you go. Some life afterwards. But if you didn't do it, they would throw you on the ground and behead you right there on the spot. Samhain is the highest night of human sacrifice on the Illuminati's calendar. And the reason it is because this is, at this time of the year, what's known as a crossroad. It ends the old year and begins the new one. Now, all crossroads in the occult are sacred. Another example would be where the beach begins and where the beach ends and the ocean begins. That's a crossroad. That's considered a sacred spot. All crossroads are sacred. Now, during this time of the year, it is believed that those souls that had died from who knows how long ago, because the veil that's separating the third and fourth dimension are supposed to be at their thinnest, those departed souls can cross over and visit their loved ones for the night. But nothing guaranteed that these spirits would be benevolent. In order to keep these spirits in line, the Druids came up with these hideous masks and decorated their robes with all types of occult symbols to control these demonic spirits, if you would. And you know, this is where you get your costumes for trick-or-treating from. Let's face it, it comes straight with the mask and the outfit to this very day.
Why, Cochran? Why? Do I need a reason? Mr. Cupford was right, you know. I do love a good joke, and this is the best ever, a joke on the children. But there's a better reason. You don't really know much about Halloween. You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy. It was the start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting in our houses of wattles and clay. The barriers would be down, you see, between the real and the unreal. And the dead might be looking in to sit by our fires of turf. Halloween. The festival of Samhain. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago, and the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children. Sacrifices. Part of our world. Our craft. Witchcraft. To us, it was a way of controlling our environment. It's not so different now. It's time again. In the end, we don't decide these things, you know. The planets do. They're in alignment, and it's time again. The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. I'm glad you'll be able to watch it. And happy Halloween.